You are Locked On Coogs, your daily podcast on the Houston Cougars, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Park Rangers, Locked On Coogs here, switching over to round ball as we talk about the Houston Cougars recruiting season this summer. The class 2026 is heated and underway, and Houston is in on some big time names. We talk about how Peach Jam went, and who they were talking to at Peach Jam, and who they were watching at Peach Jam, and stuff like that in the EYBL circuit. But big fella Arafan Diane plays for Iowa United. Iowa Colony's the school in Houston. He plays for Iowa United AAU program in the Three Stripes circuit. That is the Adidas circuit in the summertime. This guy is legitimately over 7 feet tall. I mean, I saw one measurement had him at 6'11", and then you go watch the video. Like, there's no way that guy is under 7 feet tall. He's also listed 285 pounds. And look, the kid is 17, so I don't mean this in a way that shames anybody. He's probably going to get in better shape playing at Houston. But it's not the kind of thing where it looks like it's pulling back from his game at all right now. He's really, really big, really, really strong. We'll talk about his game some in a second, how he fits in with Houston. But Arafan Diane is visiting Houston this week. He's also visiting SMU this week. The only other visit I could see scheduled for him is to visit Arkansas in late August. I bet he's going to Arkansas to watch their opening football game, if I'm being completely honest, like kind of a thing to do on campus while he's showing off the campus or whatever. But Sampson and crew really, really like this guy's game a lot. Arafan Diane has been compared to Nikola Jokic as far, the like multiple time MVP, NBA Finals MVP, Nikola Jokic, yet that guy. He's got that kind of touch. He's got that kind of vision. The guy's just a tremendous offensive basketball player with a good motor on defense and phenomenal. You can't teach it kind of size. Houston sent Sampson to go up and meet him in person and talk to him some in person last April. I couldn't find a date from earlier, but it did sound like in hearing about that visit, that was not the first time that Sampson and company had talked to Arafan Diane. It certainly seemed familiar at that point. Then when we talk about Houston and Sampson, those guys flying all over the country this summer for different AAU circuits, frequently when they were in Adidas circuit territory, they were out watching Iowa United to go watch him play. They were doing it as recently as just last week. Diane is a true special talent. I was looking up stuff on this guy. I was trying to, if I'm being honest, I want to make sure I was pronouncing his name correctly. But I found a interesting stat on how dominant of an AAU summer Arafan Diane just had. Swish Theory is a group that, like a blog group that writes about NBA draft prospects and this and that, and tries to get in on guys early to have a bunch of background on them. The Swish Theory writer was doing analytical data on the Three Stripe circuit and looked at senior year. So you're like summer before your senior of high school, points per possession on post-ups for people, typically big guys, inside of 15 feet. In those situations, Arafan Diane is 1.255 points per possession. That means in a possession, you can expect him to score a point. That means he's doing a basket more than once every 2 times, if you're just trying to keep track, right? It doesn't mean he scored the basket, he might assist in the basket, but a basket happens more than once out of every 2 times he gets the ball inside of 15 feet in an ISO type situation, right? For reference, Paolo Banchero was number 1 overall pick and is rookie of the year and was all kinds of stuff with the Orlando Magic and frankly has them to be kind of a contender in the East right now. He was 1.08 in the same situations. So a solid 0.16 points difference between the two. And Banchero was the next highest in the last 10 years. The next highest in the last 10 years. And there were 0.16 difference. Now, listen, I get that Banchero is not a traditional post-up player, so I get the sample size argument. So I went to the next post player I could find, a guy with a similar game, actually, in Derek Queen, who was just a lottery pick, right? Derek Queen had 1.024 points per possessions in these isolation type situations inside of 15 feet. the dominant offensive force that Arafan Diane is truly unreplicable across stat books. Like it doesn't really pan out. He's so big, so strong, so skilled. He's got such great vision, such great touch. Yes, he can hammer it home when it feels like he's going to break the backboard. And also, he has a little running hook shot from like 7 feet that has more touch than any guards does. He passes the ball in a ways that like he sees the ball at the court like a point guard from that extended dunker spot area, from the high post area. He finds Cutter. The guy's just really talented. Again, truly over 7 foot tall, easily with a positive wingspan. I mean, hands are down at the bottom of his shorts as he's standing straight up. I saw one place listed his standing reach at 9'5". That means flat foot standing. He can touch 9'5", which would imagine he's close to dunking without having to jump. Really, really dominant force. And defensively, he blocks a lot of shots, gets a lot of rebounds. I do think that at flirting with 300 pounds, just over 7 foot tall, you're talking about a guy that will come to Houston and at some point in those first, I don't think it'll take more than 2 years. It might take 2 seasons, but between Bishop and Kelvin Sampson, who works the bigs, and Kelvin really works the power forwards, but the unique skill set Arafan Diane has, I think he might actually end up fitting more like a giant one of those. He really this guy's a top 3 pick in the NBA draft one day, and I think that he understands what Houston can do for him. Arafan Diane comes from Guinea and is playing in Iowa at a boarding school prep program, as well as playing for his Iowa United club. He played for Guinea in the FIBA World Cup U19 group. I think he understands the work it takes. He's literally going across the world to find a chance and opportunity. I think the best opportunity for him is Houston. And look, SMU in Arkansas, Calipari, Arkansas, that's a fun program. Right? Sampson and the development that this program has, Allen Bishop and the development that weight program has shown, and frankly, the style of play. Like, listen, if Arafan Diane wanted to show out that he could, improve on anything you want to make a weakness, and I say make a weakness because it does not have many in his game, right? But if you want to say that the number one center in the class 2026 wanted to turn his weaknesses into strengths, there's not a better program to do that than Houston. And we've heard Sampson say before it's typically about guards, right? But he's said before he will take guys that can get buckets on their own in ISO, and he's going to coach up the defense and let them figure out an offense, right? He said that about Sasser, top 25 pick. He said that about Shed, 4-year NBA contract. He said about Jarris Walker, lottery pick. He said that about guys last season too. He'll say it again about Flemings and Sanak and the guys in the 2025 class right now. Truthfully, when you do that with Arafan Diane's interesting because I don't think he's a traditional center. I don't think he's really a power forward. He's just a different dude. He's a positionless big man, and I think that it'll be interesting to see how that translates into a big guy for Houston because he is a hub type player that you got to play through on offense. But I do think that Houston is the place for him to go because of the chance for him to show off what listen, right now the knock on him, if you're going to make a knock, is that he's got to get in a little bit better shape. What coach is going to fix that better than Sampson fixes that? And listen, I don't mean to say that Sampson can also exacerbate the things he's good at. I think he will, but this just feels like a great fit. And these guys have clicked. They're always smiling and laughing, and again, Sampson went out of his way to go see him last April, coming right off of a national championship appearance, right? Like that is really, really, it tells you a lot about where Sampson has this guy's priority list, I feel like, right? Now, I think that defensively right now he can play a lot of zone type coverages and stuff like that. So he's in the backside dunker spot, calling out what's happening, and then coming over from help side and stuff like that. And, we'll see how that goes. But his school team in Iowa, the a boarding school, prep school, just got admitted to the EYBL Scholastic circuit. So he'll be very much put on display this season. There'll be games, frankly, you can watch him play on TV. I don't think he's the kind of guy that's going to commit in the summertime, but I do think he's the kind of guy that's going to commit in like September, October, and he's going to like dramatically change the trajectory of a program he goes to. Now, Houston's trajectory is up and forward, and so I know that Houston has to, focus on that necessarily aspect of his recruitment. But this guy's a game changer for a lot of folks. He's coming to visit Houston this week. He is he from Guinea. People are calling him the African Jokic. I mean, he can do everything on offense. At 7'1", between 285 and 300 pounds. I mean, the giant. Now, if he were to commit, we can talk about how that impacts Chris Sinak, how that impacts JoJo Tugler, how it impacts Jacob McFarland, Sid Lott, all those guys down the line. But for right now, the impact on the program will be positive. You got to go try and get this guy. And he's coming to campus this week. Could not find a specific date, but it's already Tuesday. Speaking of this week, as we wrap up Locked On Coogs here, tidbit on me is we're going to, I think I tweeted about this. We're going to Rockport as a family, Rockport, Texas, from a nostalgic Texas beach trip. So I do not have officially nothing scheduled for Wednesday or Thursday. So we'll be back Friday. Friday episode will be up for you to start off August and get ready for the countdown to football season. Get into the weekend with some of that. I am taking my equipment. So if big things happen, commitments, whatever, football, basketball, etc., we will find a way to get something done. Nothing's scheduled right now. So enjoy the break with me, or if something big happens, hit subscribe, hit the bell so you know we're live, because we'll come back and visit that as we need it. Locked on Coogs Premier, the Locked On Podcast Network. They enjoy your team every day except for these next 2 days, so I got to take vacation. Gotta enjoy the beach, man. Gotta enjoy Rockport. Love Rockport, Texas. Go Coogs.